brothers and sisters of Burkina Faso, honorable members of our armed forces, respected elders, women and youth of our proud nation, and to our friends and allies beyond Africa's borders who believe in sovereignty and dignity, I stand before you today at a critical moment in the life of our nation. Our soil has long been stained by the footprints of foreign powers who believe that Africa exists only to be exploited, that Africans were destined to remain weak, would never rise beyond the chains of dependency. But today I come to declare before the world that those days are finished. Our revolution is not a slogan. It is a living flame. It is the cry of our martyrs, the determination of our soldiers, and the dream of our youth. And as long as I breathe, as long as this land carries the blood of our ancestors, I shall never allow Burkina Faso to kneel before any empire. For decades, we were told that the so-called international community would bring us development, if only we obeyed their rules, if only we bowed to their institutions, if only we abandoned our sovereignty. We were told that the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and the great Western powers were our guardians. What did these promises bring us? Poverty, instability, hunger, debt, and above all, vulnerability. Vulnerability to attacks from foreign-sponsored terrorists. Vulnerability to coups engineered in distant capitals. Vulnerability to sanctions whenever we dared to speak of independence. And when we looked for weapons to defend ourselves, what did they tell us? They told us we were not responsible enough to possess them. They told us to fight with bare hands while they armed our enemies. They told us to defend our people with empty promises while they deployed drones, missiles, and satellites against us. My people, this hypocrisy cannot continue. I speak today as a soldier, as a son of Africa, and as a leader entrusted with the survival of our nation. No state on earth has ever survived without the capacity to defend itself. No people have ever remained free by relying on the mercy of others. If Burkina Faso is to remain sovereign, we must have the means to deter aggression, to defend our skies, to protect our land, and to guarantee that no foreign army, no foreign power, no foreign corporation will ever again dictate our destiny. And let me say this clearly. Defense is not aggression. To arm oneself against the possibility of invasion is not an act of war, but an act of peace. For peace exists only when the aggressor knows he will pay too high a price for his crime. In this spirit, we have sought new partnerships, not with those who enslaved us, not with those who exploited us, not with those who speak of human rights with one hand while bombing nations with the other. We have turned to those who understand what it means to resist. We have turned to those who, like us, have faced sanctions, blockades, and the arrogance of empires, and yet have survived. And so today, before my people and before the world, I announce with pride and with full conviction, Burkina Faso has entered into a historic agreement with the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, with the support and vision of its leader, Kim Jong-un. This agreement is not one of subjugation. It is not a dictate forced upon us. It is a partnership of equals. It is the meeting of two nations determined to be free. It is the alliance of two peoples who refuse to live on their knees. I extend my gratitude to His Excellency Kim Jong-un, who has assured us of the cooperation and solidarity of the Korean people. For decades, the DPRK has stood as a fortress of resistance, enduring sanctions, facing threats, yet refusing to surrender its sovereignty. When the great powers said to them, "You shall not defend yourselves," they answered, "We shall not be slaves." When they were told, "Give up your weapons and your pride," they answered, "We shall stand tall." And today, when Burkina Faso calls for solidarity, the DPRK has responded not with conditions, not with James, not with dictates, but with brotherhood. Some will ask, why missile technology? Why does Burkina Faso need such weapons? Let me answer clearly. Because we must ensure that no foreign aircraft, no foreign base, no foreign mercenary can ever threaten our land without consequence. Because we must demonstrate that Africa is not a playground for NATO or for the armies of neo-colonial masters. Because in a world where the strong dictate terms to the weak, the only language understood is the language of strength. Missile technology is not for aggression. It is for deterrence. It is for balance. It is for the simple truth that no one dares attack those who can respond with force. For too long, Africa has been told to depend on the weapons of others. For too long, we have been made to beg for protection from those who are themselves the architects of our insecurity. But today I say, no more. We shall not beg. We shall build. We shall not wait for others to decide our destiny. We shall forge it with our own hands, with our own allies, with our own technology. And let it be clear, Burkina Faso is not alone. This agreement with the DPRK is part of a wider awakening across Africa. Nations are rising. Leaders are refusing to be puppets. People are demanding dignity. The age of colonial dependence is over. To the West I say, do not mistake our determination for aggression. Do not mistake our desire for defense as a threat to peace. The real threat to peace is your endless meddling, your sanctions, your exploitation, your military bases spread across our continent like a plague. If you truly desire peace, then respect our sovereignty. If you truly respect freedom, then stop dictating to free peoples. If you truly believe in democracy, then allow Africans to choose their path without interference. But if you continue to sow chaos, if you continue to undermine our independence, then know this, Burkina Faso shall not be a victim. Burkina Faso shall not be an easy target. Burkina Faso shall stand armed, prepared, and unbroken. My brothers and sisters, history is turning a page. The world is no longer unipolar. The age where one or two nations dictated the fate of humanity is ending. A new multipolar world is emerging. A world where Africa has a seat at the table. A world where Asia and Africa walk hand in hand. A world where the oppressed unite to become unbreakable. Our partnership with the DPRK is part of this new era. It is a declaration that Burkina Faso will not walk in fear but in pride. It is a statement that we will no longer wait for others to defend us. It is proof that, even under sanctions, even under threats, nations can rise when they believe in their sovereignty. As I conclude this opening part of my address, let me remind you all, this is not merely about missiles, it is about dignity. It is about sovereignty. It is about the right of Burkina Faso to exist, to defend itself, and to prosper without chains. We have chosen our path. We have chosen our allies. We have chosen to rise. And I say to the world, watch us. Watch Burkina Faso. Watch Africa. For we shall no longer be silent, no longer be weak, and no longer be dependent. Long live Burkina Faso. Long live the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Long live the spirit of sovereignty and resistance.